really lacking in quality when you wish one of the matches was Last Man Standing?
Oh,
You really know a show is lacking, because I really wish that, I mean, we should have gotten something on this card. I mean, we did, sort of.
ladies and gentlemen,
But
yeah, welcome to Extreme Rules 2021.
yep,
And,
where
it's starting to become my catchphrase. Right off the bat, let me say, there was some excellent wrestling on the show. There was some very odd booking decisions, and this was just a terrible just use of this pay-per-view name. This pay-per-view could have been Unforgiven. This pay-per-view could have been No Mercy. This pay-per-view could have been anything else but Extreme Rules.
yeah.
There was one stipulation on this show, and it was a
Well,
lazy stipulation.
yeah, 2 if you count the triple threat match. Is that the lazy stipulation you were talking about?
No, just it's called Extreme Rules. So the Universal title match wasn't even built around the fact that it was Extreme Rules. It was just, oh, we have this main event. We have to have an Extreme Rules match on the show. Fans are saying that Extreme Rules has become like TLC and Hell in a Cell, where you're going to get the one Extreme Rules match and the one Extreme Rules match only. That doesn't slide with me, because a ladder match is a ladder match. You can't have 4 of those in one night. I understand that. Same with Hell in a Cell. But when you have street fights and ladder matches and tables matches and last man standing matches and false count anywhere matches and, Hell in a Cell matches, all of these different stipulations, these I quit matches that you could be using on your pay-per-view, and you don't use any of them. And me and Zack went through the card. Every single match on this show could have had a stipulation, but they just chose not to.
And Tomas is sure, so what we're going to do, obviously, we're talking about WWE Extreme Rules 2021, which Becky Lynch said during the opening video package, tonight, anything goes. And immediately I look at her and I'm like, bullshit. There's one stipulation match on here.
That's ironic, considering Becky Lynch is the one saying that. More on that later.
Disqualifications! Yes. So
more on that later.
Anyway, more on that later. But yeah, I don't want to bury the lead. But folks, if you guys are new to the channel, consider subscribing down below. It would really help us out tremendously. As you guys know, if you guys have been with us for a while, this channel is on the road to 1,000 subscribers and counting. Thank you so very much for your support. Hit that thumbs up as well, so more people can see this content. It would be really beneficial. It would really help us out. But to Tomas's point, as he called it, WWE on Extreme Rules 2021. And basically what Tomas is, well, obviously we're going to be bantering, but Tomas is going to be listing off every stipulation that every match should have had, just to kind of throw an added curveball and an added twist into this. But
so we're opening up the show with a match that was actually announced on Twitter.
Well, we actually do see Liv Morgan versus Carmella on the pre-show before that. Did you happen to catch any of this? No.
So I'm glad you brought that up, though. Shout out to my buddy Hugo that watched this pay-per-view with me on Sunday, and he taught me the greatest life hack of all time. We have been complaining ever since WWE made the transition to Peacock that once the show starts live, you can't start it from the start. He thankfully let me know that if you go onto the live stream, you can rewind it manually to the beginning. Thank you, bro. If you are listening to this podcast, you just saved me hours and hours and hours of time for every pay-per-view that I'm not going to make live. Thank you. Peacock, it would be nicer if you just had a start from the beginning option, but if you're not going to give us that, at least we found a way. Apparently, I shouldn't need a hack to do this, but we found it.
Apparently that's too much to ask for fucking Peacock, but Liv and Carmella, these poor ladies were promoted for the main show, but then to your point, with our opener, they were bumped down to the pre-show, which honestly, I mean, this is a SmackDown match, if I'm being honest. The ladies did work hard, and the crowd was really getting behind Liv Morgan at this point, and Carmella does know how to get...
her. She deserves it, and at some point, she needs to get a pay-per-view SmackDown or Raw, depending on where she goes in the draft. She deserves a Raw Women's Championship push. Or not Raw, just a Women's Championship match in general. We've seen it a lot. We've seen, all of these wrestlers, Ruby Soho, her former tag team partner, getting a women's title shot. just give Liv Morgan an opportunity. And you know what? She's going to run with that ball if you give it to her.
It is long overdue for sure, because, you know, Liv Morgan's been one of my favorites. I even said a few months ago that she should have won Money in the Bank, but alas, she didn't, and they wasted the briefcase the next night. But this was a match. I mean, Liv Morgan basically beats her with her finisher, whatever she calls it. I don't even remember really what it's called, but
I don't know off the top of my head either, but they definitely
is
it a tornado DDT, or is it?
It's like a God, what's it called? It's like a not a blockbuster. It's kind of like a variation of what Shelton Benjamin does. Like you know, like
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so
I'm on the Wikipedia page right now, and it just says Morgan threw Carmella into the announce table. Back in the ring, Morgan performed a springboard flatliner on Carmella to win the match.
That was it. Yep. The springboard flatliner. You know, I'm sure Liv has a fun name for it, but
yeah.
I mean, she does win. The right person definitely win over. You know, Carmella does not need a win at this point, but this was 2 stars. It was a match. It existed on the pre-show. Definitely.
Yeah, honestly, two very solid SmackDown workers that honestly I think deserve a little better. Good on Carmella for putting up for Liv Morgan. Like I said at SummerSlam, she is your quintessential heel. She's really good at getting heat. And since she's so good at being a heel, she really helps put over the baby faces like Liv Morgan. Anywho,
can I just say,
on Twitter, it was announced.
One last thing about this Carmella thing, you know, and then I promise we'll get to the opening match, but at some point. But can I just say that Carmella's line about being that she's hot and you're not, it is the most cringe thing I've ever heard in my life. You know, whoever
it kind of sounds like she stole it from a certain someone that says, "I'm better than you, and you know it."
Yeah, you know, it's whoever came up with that line needs to be fired. But
I'm gonna counteract. I'm gonna counteract your cringe with something that I found very funny. A friend of mine that doesn't even watch wrestling sent me a meme of a dog wearing a wig, and it said, "When Carmella says she's the most beautiful woman in WWE," I'm like, God damn, that's how good Carmella is if she's getting non-wrestling fans to talk shit about her.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to talk about something happier? I know you've been itching to talk about this opening match.
Yeah, for sure. Because despite the kind of complaints we have about this, I actually really, really like this opener. We have AJ Styles, Omos, and the almighty Lashley teaming up to face off against the reunited New Day, which is Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and if you haven't been keeping up, yes, the brand new WWE champion, Big E.
You deserve it.
Briefcase. Yep. Big E cashed in his briefcase a couple weeks ago to become the brand new WWE champion.
Loved it.
This was 100% hot shotted. I will say that, but you know what? I don't care at this point. Big E deserves this title. I know we were supposed to get Lashley and Randy Orton on this show. They bumped it over to Raw.
It was a mess.
A lot of shit. Yeah, it was a hot mess on Monday Night Raw. But you know what? I will forgive all of it because Big E deserves this. I listened to the New Day podcast a couple of days ago, and he is just the most humble man in the world, and I could not be happier for Big E.
He sure is. I mean, everybody thought he was going to be a world champion when he debuted on the main roster 9 years ago, almost to the day, when he was Dolph Ziggler's lackey, and now Dolph Ziggler's nowhere to be found on these shows anywhere. But, you know, Big E is on top of the mountain. You know, he cashed in the contract, definitely hot-shotted. You know, the lunatic is in panic mode because AEW is better. But, you know, I mean, at this point it is. I like WWE, fine, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't have watched this show. But, Big E, like, his cash-in, obviously very emotional. But my one nitpick with the cash-in, they fucking cut to commercial after he gives the referee the briefcase. That gave Lashley so much time to recuperate.
Yeah,
honestly. Fucking
that's
hell.
The shitty part about these TV main events. You have to have the fucking commercial cuts and all that. And I know this was our biggest complaint with this match. 2 complaints, actually. Number one, don't say that, 1 week is not enough time to build a Big E and Lashley rematch, because they would have their rematch for the championship the following night on Raw.
Better yet,
a cage
in
match.
a cage. That sounds like Extreme Rules to me. That sounds like Extreme Rules to me. Like,
Walk your matches around, WWE. Exactly. This is how fucking just,
God.
oh my God, Vince is not thinking. It's just like you put the cage match, and sure, have the cage match open the show. That's how you get people to tune into this pay-per-view, Vince. That's how you do it. It's not that hard. But that's my biggest complaint here, with this match. Don't say you couldn't have had Big E versus Lashley on this show. Because, if you're just going to have it the very next night on Raw, it's just proof that Vince cares more about TV right now than pay-per-views. But I'm not going to complain too much.
He's in panic mode.
I'm not going to complain too much because I will never, ever, ever complain about seeing the trio of the New Day team up. Because it's been a while, and I was so happy to see this. My second complaint with this match, this should have been a Texas Tornado match.
There it is. I was waiting for it. I was going to ask you what stipulation this should have been, because we know how good a Texas Tornado match can be on pay-per-view. Tomas and I were very fortunate to watch a Texas Tornado match on pay-per-view live involving Bryan Danielson and the late Mr. Brody Lee. It was a couple years ago at this point, because 2019.
Because look at it. You got Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, AJ Styles that could fly around the ring like crazy. You got Lashley and Big E that could do the big hot shit and tackle themselves through stuff. And then you got Omos that could just complete total chaos and absolutely destroy everything around the ring. That's a good recipe for disaster that, WWE missed. They totally missed the ball on this one, and I'm going to be saying that a lot tonight.
I mean, there was some good wrestling in this match. It was
this match was
by
excellent.
A lack of stipulation. AJ Styles with a calf killer on Xavier, because ain't no way I'm calling it the calf crusher. The calf killer sounds so much cooler. There is a very nice sequence AJ has with Kofi Kingston. Is it just me, or am I the only one that wants a Big E versus AJ Styles WWE title program?
Absolutely.
It's been way too fucking long since AJ's been in the world title picture. Way too long.
That's what I was thinking when I saw them lock up. And also remember, now that Big E is the champion, now that he's a babyface champion, that just shows a brand new slew of opponents for him. We got the draft coming up on Friday. Things, we can talk shit about WWE's booking until the cows come home, but I will always adhere to, I watch WWE for these wrestlers because they are killing it every single night. I will not complain about the match quality. For everyone who hates WWE, you cannot say the match quality is bad, because it's not. This opener right here was excellent.
Very good, yes. And I mean, just from the fact that AJ Styles in the fucking match, it's like, he could have carried this match all by himself, but thankfully he does have some very capable opponents in the New Day, who is doing Unicorn Stampede, which I was so happy to see once again. Xavier did not pull out the trombone mid-match, though. That was my only complaint with the Unicorn
Stampede. Don't sleep on Omos. He had some really good spots in here, too. My favorite spot from him is when Kingston springboarded off the top rope and he got chopped mid-air by Omos, like swatting a fly out of the sky.
Reminded me of the Great Khali.
Hey, you can't. Omos is far more capable than Khali, and I think Omos held his own in this match.
Yeah,
like I think Omos has been holding his own ever since WrestleMania.
And now the true test is going to be when the draft inevitably splits him and AJ Styles up. Because ain't no way AJ Styles is going over to SmackDown if Paul Heyman's over there. So, Omos is going to go over there all by himself. But there is, a nice Big E hot tag. He is launching AJ Styles back and forth across the ring. I mean, Uranagi's everywhere. There's an assisted foot stomp from Kofi Kingston, which looks great. Lashley hits a Dominator on Kofi Kingston. It doesn't look like the Dominator, but that's what they call the Dominator now. So,
was it the running power slam?
No, it was, he had Kofi,
okay.
No, he had Kofi on his shoulder.
Was it like that modified Dominator?
Yeah. He doesn't like...
Yeah, that's what they've been calling. They've been calling it that ever since he came back, and honestly, it looks a lot better than the regular Dominator. It's funny that Lashley is paired with MVP, because I will say Lashley and MVP have had like the worst finishers of all time. I did not like the original Dominator, and I know this is off topic, but you can never convince me that the Playmaker is a good move. It's
Thank you.
It's shitty.
It is so bad.
I
don't like it
shitty.
at all.
I'm so happy when he
Anytime
he
someone
adjusted
fucking
when he transitioned to the drive-by kick is such a better move for MVP.
Yeah, and I
Oh
mean,
my God.
even though Roman Reigns has the overdrive now, or not the overdrive, the fucking drive-by kick, it's yeah, the overdrive.
I
is
never want to see
dumb.
the playmaker ever again. And I saw MVP try to pull it out when they were wrestling RK Bro a couple weeks ago, and I cringed so hard. Like, MVP, you are better than that finisher.
Absolutely.
You are so better than that finisher.
So Lashley hits the non-Ron Simmons Dominator on Kofi Kingston, and Lashley's running roughshod because he's the Almighty, and AJ Styles blind tags himself in, and there's tension between him and Lashley, who is not happy that AJ hot tagged in. I thought that was going to lead into the finish. AJ tries to go for a phenomenal forearm. Lashley tags himself back in, accidentally spears AJ Styles, and then a Big E hits Lashley with a big ending, pins him clean in the middle of the ring for a 3 count, which makes no sense considering what would happen the next night. Big E would pin Bobby Lashley, the guy who would challenge him in a cage match for the title the next night on Raw.
Yeah, that was probably the most, I don't want to say head-scratching, but the most shocking thing about this match is that Lashley took the pin. Like, you have Styles in there that, is more than capable of taking the pin in this match, but Lashley gets pinned once again. I really enjoyed this match. 3 3/4 stars. This was an excellent opener.
That's fair. Yeah, I had fun with it. I gave it 3.5. Definitely the right folks going over, the New Day reuniting. And that's another thing I noted is that, this could be the last time we ever see the New Day in the ring. And even though they were just split up by the draft a year ago, that's how big.
Yeah, I sure hope they don't send Kingston and Woods to SmackDown because I kind of like this dynamic of the New Day being all together and with Big E as champion, just like when Kofi Kingston was champion.
And I know you don't want this, but it does open the door for Kofi and Xavier to potentially turn on Big E down the line and then potentially go after him.
I thought that's what Big E and Woods were going to do to Kingston when he was a champion, but I'm convinced that this faction is right as for now, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, they're not going
anywhere. We have the Hurt Business. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yes.
The Hurt Business actually reunited on Raw.
And you know what? It made me so happy.
I'm gonna say it. I would much rather see the New Day versus the Hurt Business than the New Day versus the Bloodline. I said it. Keep them the fuck off of Raw, Vince. Keep them off Raw. Keep them off Raw. I never want to see that again, you fucking overly panicked motherfucker. I know I'm in the minority when I say that, but God, that made me so angry.
He's so fucking mad right now. But
I do not like when Vince hot shots shit like that.
Wild card, baby.
I was convinced to stop watching wrestling again.
Yeah,
I was convinced. If I see this shit again, if Reigns shows up on Raw 2 weeks in a row, I'm done. AEW will have my full attention until they stop that shit.
Thank God Roman Reigns did not show up on Raw last night, but. With that said, speaking of tag teams and speaking of the Bloodline, the Usos are defending the SmackDown Tag Team titles against the Street Profits. It has been a very long time since we've gotten an opportunity to talk about the Street Profits. But, Tomas, first things first, what should this match have been? What stipulation should it have had?
I was so excited for this match. This is an excellent pay-per-view match to have. 2 awesome tag teams that are going to tear it up. This should have been a fucking ladder match.
Yes. Case in point. Stay tuned for our Judgment Day 2003 pod. You know how effective SmackDown Tag Team Championship ladder matches could be. I was so ready to see these guys put on an instant classic. But, watching this match, it was definitely great wrestling, but something was missing here. Something was absolutely missing.
Ladders. Ladders were missing in this match.
The crowd was chanting, "We want tables." Same.
Hell, I would have taken a tables match. I would have taken a tables match.
Me too. But
no. I swear to God, if they announce Usos versus Street Profits next week on SmackDown in a ladder match, I'm going to shit a live brick.
Well, I won't because I'll be going to that SmackDown. Thank you very much. I would love to see a ladder match again live, but I got to give credit where it's due. Angelo Dawkins is great, but Montez Ford was out of this world in this match because he was selling those ribs like nobody's business. Like the theme song said, he brings the swag like nobody can. Nobody can sell the ribs like nobody can, like Montez Ford. So there you go. There you go.
Oh yeah, this was 100 moves a minute. I love both of these tag teams. You all know how much I love tag team wrestling, and you all know how much I love established tag team wrestling. And this was some of the best tag team wrestling I've seen from WWE in a while.
Oh yeah, especially on the Street Profits comeback, like Angelo Dawkins hitting the anointment for a near fall, and then Montez Ford hitting a frog splash. He is selling those ribs like nobody's business. The crowd really, really wanted the Street Profits to take the titles home, but obviously
and
that was
again.
Yeah,
I have this weird thing that, for the past 3 pay-per-views, let's see, when the Usos have been on the past 3 pay-per-views, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, and the Extreme Rules here, with a live crowd. And every time I see them wrestle, I'm like, oh shit, the ending of this match is gonna affect the main event, what Roman Reigns is doing. Yeah. And spoiler alert, I've been wrong all 3 times, but I'm always convinced that the bloodline can't retain all the titles in one night. And they hit the 3-peat in this pay-per-view because, spoiler alert, they do. But that's always in the back of my mind. Yep. Well, when the Usos go on before Roman Reigns.
Well, they got to keep selling those T-shirts with them holding all the gold, so that's why they're still retaining. But this is honestly so after that frog splash, there are super kicks to the ribs. They wish they could have a nice super kick party at this point, but they hit a double Uso splash on Montez Ford for the unfortunate 3 count because I would have loved to see the Street Profits win the tag titles again, but was not meant to be on this card. Not meant to be. The best I can do is 3.5 stars, even though I did enjoy this match. It was missing the ladders. It was missing a stipulation.
Oh, yeah. 3.5 stars for me, too. This match was excellent. At this point, if the Street Profits aren't going to win the titles, you got to think that a a tag team from Raw is going to come over and try and take those titles off the Usos because I think the Usos had a stare down with Alpha Academy backstage. I'm not saying I don't want to see that match, just they're both heels, and there would be no reason for me to cheer for Alpha Academy. So I think a fresh new Raw tag team needs to come over and challenge the Usos for these titles.
I'll give you 2 reasons to cheer for the Alpha Academy. Chad Gable and Otis. There you go. So
damn, you got me there, man.
Yeah,
you fucking got me there.
I mean, those 2 should be fucking white meat baby faces the whole way through, and yet here they are as freaking Dean Malenko Iceman heels. So
shit, you got me there, man. You got me there.
Just saying. But
oh yeah,
I'd love to see that match, and this next match is one I really was not looking forward to, all things considered.
Me too. This was the match I was most nervous for.
It was for the Raw Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair is defending against Alexa Bliss in Alexa Bliss's hometown, mind you. I wonder who fucking wins this. It's WWE.
So random as fuck. When Alexa Bliss was making her way to the ring, I saw a fan with a sign that said the Goofy movie is trash. And I'm like, why the fuck are we talking about the Goofy movie? First of all, you're wrong. Second of all, I want to know what fucking drugs these fans are on because I keep seeing signs at AEW saying this video game sucks and this video game sucks. And now we're talking about old Disney movies from the 90s. Why?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
Tomas and I should probably keep a lookout for those kind of fan signs when we go to SmackDown. And Tomas is going to be going to Raw in a few weeks in Sacramento. But
and there was another one during the main event, but we'll get to that when we get to that. It was so weird.
Let me go ahead and before I get too into the deep end on this, believe it or not, I'm going to praise this match for one thing. The heel-face dynamic between Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss fits much better in this context. Because if you recall, these 2 wrestled each other, I want to say, at Survivor Series 2017, 2017 or 2018.
They did, when they were Raw and SmackDown champions collectively. That's when Flair was a babyface, wasn't she?
Yep, and Alexa was the goddess heel. So the
the
dynamic was so strange there because Alexa Bliss is considerably smaller in height than Charlotte Flair. So seeing her get the heat on Charlotte just really didn't really add up. But
also shout out to Charlotte Flair for the Venom inspired ring gear. I thought that was really fucking cool.
Yeah, just doesn't really make me excited because it reminded me that I have to go watch that piece of shit on Thursday night. But
You're gonna fucking like it. Watch. You're gonna love it. You are gonna love it. I guarantee it.
Not to get too off topic, but for my cinephile fans here, you know, I don't like the first Venom movie. I think it's absolute trash. But the second Venom movie it should be fucking rated R. Yeah, you're shaking your head. It should be rated R.
I'm gonna have a talk with you later, Mister. Anywho,
there's no excuse for it to not be rated R. But anyway, yeah, it was very cool gear. I'll agree with you there. So,
this match was a hell of a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Oh my god!
You want a hot take?
I did not think this match was going to be this good.
You want a hot take? This was Alexa Bliss's best match. This was Alexa Bliss's best match in years.
Wow. You know what? I can't argue with you there.
God damn. I really freaking enjoyed it. Again, not like, I don't know. I don't want to say Alexa Bliss's matches are like bad, obviously, because she is very gifted in the ring for sure. I mean, she carried Eva Marie to a shitfest match on SummerSlam.
She's never, again, to your point, she's never given the opportunity to work against quality opponents. Like, she's always been given, like, you know, oh, you're going to get squashed by Ronda Rousey in less than 5 minutes. Oh, you have to wrestle Nia Jax. Oh, you're going to wrestle Asuka, but you're going to have to do all this goofy voodoo shit with her. You have to wrestle Eva Marie. You have to wrestle Bailey, but Nikki Cross is going to be your tag team partner.
Kendo stick on a pole match. A kendo stick on a pole match.
Didn't her and Nikki fight Bailey in a handicap match one pay-per-view? And
they did. They did. That might have been Extreme Rules 2019, if I remember right.
That was a fucking wild card match, and that's why I forget about it so easily. Anywho, Bliss has never been really given the opportunity to wrestle against quality opponents, and this was. Why do we hate Charlotte Flair when she's the best damn women's wrestler on the roster right now?
Well, I mean,
why do we hate her?
I mean, Becky Lynch is back, so I mean, there's a reason for fans to hate Charlotte Flair now. But
I think Charlotte Flair is the best women's wrestler on the roster.
That's fine.
And just because we don't like her booking, that doesn't mean we can't acknowledge the queen.
I think she's fantastic too. I never said she wasn't fantastic.
Well, this is mainly towards the Charlotte haters.
I know, but she really. I don't want to say she carried this match because, again, Alexa Bliss more than held her own. Charlotte had a really sick-looking pendulum swing. Alexa went, like, temple first into the barricade. It did not look comfortable. I got to say, you're going to hate me for saying this, but that Andrade moonsault keeps looking better and better every time Charlotte tries it. Like,
she can keep trying. She can work on it.
You didn't hear it from me, ladies and gentlemen. I actually don't mind that she's doing that move, but Alexa Bliss hits a really, really nice-looking code red on Charlotte for a near fall. She goes for a twisted bliss, which is a move I haven't seen in quite some time, you know, because she always hits that Sister Abigail DDT. The crowd is cheering because it's Columbus. Alexa should be winning this match because it's her hometown. She hits a DDT on Charlotte. She gets her foot on the ropes. But then you get a fucking natural selection from Charlotte, and she fucking pins Alexa Bliss clean in the middle of the ring in her fucking hometown. What is so wrong with Vince putting over people in their hometown? Seriously.
I think this is just an unfortunate set of circumstances, but I'm okay with this finish because this is just the beginning of the feud.
Yeah, because do you want to describe this aftermath?
After the match?
Yeah, go ahead and describe it, my friend.
Considering what happens after this match, I think if they would have had Alexa Bliss win the title and still went with his finish, then, you know, it would have just totally drowned out the fact that she just won the Raw Women's title as this gimmick. So that bastard of a bitch, Charlotte Flair.
Great description. Great description. That bastard of a bitch.
Okay, I'm going to praise this segment and then I'm going to bury it at the same time. So I didn't watch Raw last week because I didn't want to watch the main event. Did I just see correctly that Charlotte Flair ripped Lily's head off?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And then it's magically back together. Okay.
Nice.
Didn't Shayna Baszler do the same thing on Raw, like stomped all over Lily and like ripped her head off or something like that? Did that happen? Okay. How come both times that happened, it's like, oh, we're just going to no-sell it? But then Charlotte Flair absolutely rips Lily to shreds. exposing the stuffing and
Yeah.
absolutely eviscerates this doll. And then Alexa Bliss tries to attack Charlotte Flair. Charlotte throws her over the announce table, and Alexa Bliss is absolutely devastated that Lily was ripped to shreds.
So devastated.
How come you weren't mad when the head got ripped off, but now you're mad that she's torn up?
Yeah, so devastated, in fact, that she had Alka-Seltzer in her mouth, and it looked like she was foaming, like freaking old Yeller right before they shot him.
That was a botched effect. I know what they were trying to do there.
They were trying to make her
look like she was foam. Yeah.
Yeah, they were trying to make her look like old Yeller right before they shot him. You know, terrible.
But it botched, and it was so bad. I thought she had really stuffing in her mouth, and she was just excessively drooling. But I see what they were trying to do there. It didn't work. And fucking fans are fucking assholes. They start chanting, "Thank you, Lily." And it's like, this is why I fucking missed you guys all year. Oh, rest in peace, Lily. 2021 to 2021.
Leave the memories alone. That was my fucking favorite chant all night. Like, every freaking, like, bad booking decision I can forgive on this card because of these freaking fans. I miss them so much. But
could you imagine if this was in the Thunderdome? Like, we would be shitting all over it. But the fact that we had the fans there to make it fucking funny.
I mean, as it were, this is a 3.25 star match. It was a really nicely wrestled. I mean, Alexa Bliss's best match in years.
Oh, what kind of match should have this been? I said it should have been like Alexa's playground match.
Yeah. So again, this match would have been better with a stipulation. This will come
just some sort of street
for the
fight.
main event. Yeah,
you know, just some sort of gimmicky street fight, no holds barred match where they could have just let loose, do your kendo sticks, your trash cans, your announce table spots, your steel steps.
They could have also trapped Lily in a shark cage so Lily doesn't interfere and wink at Charlotte, you know. But I'm not trying to give the lunatic in the gorilla position any ideas at this point, but because you fucking know he would put Lily in a shark cage just for the effect. But
he would. But you know, I know you're upset Alexa Bliss didn't win the title, but considering this was the aftermath. This makes me wonder what's going to happen next. Apparently, Alexa Bliss is written off TV for a bit, so we're not going to see her for a few weeks.
She's written off TV? It might be because her wedding's coming up pretty soon. That
explains that, honestly.
But,
so we're not going to see Alexa Bliss for a minute.
Thinking about that, but I mean, I'm just so sick and tired of wrestlers getting pinned in their hometowns. I mean, I've been sick of it ever since I went to Payback 2017, and ironically enough, that's where Alexa Bliss won the Raw Women's Championship from San Jose's own Bayley. You know?
Yeah.
I've been so sick of it since that point. So
I do agree with you, but for this storyline purpose, like I said, if Alexa Bliss won the title and they still went with the aftermath, then it would just totally shit all over Alexa Bliss's moment. Because when she does, you heard me, when she does win that Raw Women's title, it needs to be a big deal.
It does. It absolutely does. But if you'll excuse me, folks, I'm going to go ahead and grab my charger. Tomas, you can go ahead and introduce the next contest here.
You got it. Next up, we have, it was made last Monday on Raw. It was originally just supposed to be a one-on-one, but now we have a triple threat match for the United States Championship. Champion Damian Priest defending against Sheamus and the charismatic enigma Jeff Hardy. You know I have mixed feelings about Jeff Hardy.
Tomas's favorite
I have
wrestler.
Mixed feelings about him in this match.
Yeah, so
I always have mixed feelings about Jeff Hardy.
Can I just say a couple of things before we get into this? So, number one, this is Damian Priest's birthday on Extreme Rules, so I wonder who fucking wins this. Number two, will Sheamus's nose ever heal at this point? I don't think it will.
No.
I mean...
no. I told you, Cowboy Bob Orton's arm is still broken.
Yeah, so Sheamus's nose is probably going to be... It's probably going to be broken until SummerSlam hits Wembley Stadium next year, as it's rumored. But
oh yeah.
Now, last thing, isn't it just so amazing to hear no more words on pay-per-view again?
Like, I will give you that. Whenever I see Jeff Hardy come out, like at least they gave him a good theme song. Took him
so
4
happy.
fucking years. Took 4 years to get it back.
He didn't want to bring it back in the fucking Thunderdome. Like,
but that doesn't exclude 2017, 2018, and 2019.
Well, that was when he was in a tag team with his brother. So, you know, his brother does not come out to No More Words. So he comes out to
Didn't the
I
Hardy
can
no the Hardy
slap a
Boys split.
tornado. You know,
The Hardy Boys split up in 2018. Remember when Jeff got drafted to SmackDown?
didn't oh he totally did when he was the U.S.
He
champion.
did.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. Anywho,
Yep. So
this match was really fucking good.
it was really fun, but the crowd still wanted tables early on in this match. So why don't you go ahead and give them some fucking tables? Triple threats are no DQ anyway. This could
Exactly.
have been,
Yeah.
This could have been an elimination tables match also, and it was rumored to be changed to be a
How
tables
about-
match. So
How about I'll go into 2 points. Number one, you want to go Extreme Rules. This pay-per-view was birthed off of ECW. Have an old-fashioned three-way dance.
yeah, that's a
Come
great
on,
idea.
WWE.
That's a great
Old-
idea.
You
know?
have Paul Heyman at the show. Why didn't Paul Heyman stick up and say, three-way dance, guys?
Well,
That was kind of my thing back in ECW.
because he's not executive director of Monday Night Raw anymore. But in any case,
Still, he can fucking
sorry.
send a text message to Bruce Pritchard. Look here, motherfucking piece of shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not like Bruce Pritchard's gonna listen to him. So, we do see Damian Priest steal some more moves out of Sheamus's arsenal, hitting the 10 beats of the ball drum, which always makes me happy. Everybody knows that I love when wrestlers steal other people's finishers or signatures, and seeing Damian Priest hit the 10 beats of the ball drum might have been my favorite thing in this match. That did not include Sheamus mocking Jeff Hardy, of course. So,
That was excellent. We'll get to that when
Sheamus-
we get to that.
the fucking Sheamus.
Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
Columbus, Ohio was fucking Jeff Hardy country for some reason. They really wanted him to win.
They
Oh my
really
God.
did.
I turned over to Hugo during this match and I say, we are in 2021 and Jeff Hardy's still over as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
I will say that Jeff Hardy is still as over as Rey Mysterio is.
They're
My
gonna
God, did they want him to win?
bold prediction. They're moving Jeff Hardy over to SmackDown, and he's gonna be Roman Reigns' feud throughout the winter. So, I mean,
I honestly wouldn't mind seeing that.
Roman
They've done
Reigns-
an excellent job with these one-off
Yeah.
feuds.
Roman Reigns versus Jeff Hardy in a TLC match just speaks for itself. You know? Like,
Oh yeah.
Come on.
And
Come
this
on.
is where
That's-
my
that's
mixed
just too
feelings come
obvious.
with Jeff Hardy. This is where my mixed feelings come with Jeff Hardy. You haven't done anything with Jeff Hardy like this whole year, and then now all of a sudden you want to make him relevant again and throw him in this match. There's that. Also, I would have fucking groaned if he would have won this. Like, I know everyone's gonna start. I'm that meme of Flynn Rider when they're all sticking the knives in it, and I'm just like, I would have been mad if Jeff Hardy won. It's just that you have all this young, fresh talent that's not being used, and you're still going with Jeff motherfucking Hardy in 2021.
Well,
I know
they
I'm an
gotta.
asshole for saying that, but
Well, they got to get the most out of him before he retires in AEW along with his brother. So
yeah,
they just
do you
gotta-
think that's why they're doing it? They don't
Yeah.
want to lose him?
Yeah, they don't want to
he
lose Jeff
just
Hardy.
signed a brand new contract. He just signed a brand new
Did
spanking
he
contract
really?
with WWE. So
I know he's. I know
He did.
I know he's sticking around through like 2023 at least. I don't know if that's like the
Oh, yeah.
contract itself, but
I think it was either this year or last year. He signed a new deal and he told WWE the no more words. He said that was one of his stipulations in his contract, that he'd
Yeah.
only stick around if they brought back the theme song. And then when Jeff Hardy obviously was getting interviewed throughout 2020, he said, it's coming back. The minute the fans are let back, I'm going to bring it back. That's why I was anticipating it when he carrying cross on Raw. I was anticipating the
in
theme
fucking
song.
2 minutes. So
Anywho,
another
I don't
story
know.
for
I
another
know
time.
I'm the fucking demon for not wanting Jeff Hardy to win, but don't get me wrong. When I was watching this match and I heard how over he was with the crowd, I was like, I kind of want him to win. But then I remembered Priest just won this title last month, and I'm like, no. Priest needs to go over.
They weren't going to take it off of Damian Priest. He went for the Reckoning, otherwise known as the Crossroads on somebody. And I remember there being an awkward
Also
reversal.
known as Hit the Lights, which is a much better name.
Yes. Hit the lights when he was Punishment Martinez out on the Indies. But so Jeff Hardy does get mocked by Sheamus as he's on the top rope. I think Jeff Hardy was going for a swanton on Damian Priest, and then Sheamus shoved him off. He goes up to the top to hit his like top rope knee drop onto Priest, and he looks at the crowd who is booing him for knocking Jeff Hardy off the apron, and then he starts doing this to the best of his ability while keeping his balance. Sheamus is awesome. Sheamus is fucking
also,
awesome.
Wasn't it last year at the horror show at Extreme Rules, or was it Backlash where Jeff Hardy and Sheamus wrestled?
It was a Backlash. Yep. So
yeah, that's right. Here we are a year later, and they're wrestling for the United States Championship. That's pretty wild.
Just adding Damian Priest into the mix. But yeah, Jeff Hardy does hit a stacked swanton as Sheamus is pinning Damian Priest. And to your point, the crowd really wants Jeff Hardy to win, but Sheamus hits a brogue kick on Jeff Hardy, who falls out of the ring. Damian Priest sneaks up in the back door and pins Sheamus with a fucking roll-up, which I thought was so lame. Like, at least if you're going to have Priest retain, can you at least do it where he hit the lights or fucking South of Heaven? Like, come on.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And also to rub salt in the wound even more, the following night on Raw, Sheamus and Damian Priest have a no disqualification, no count-out match for the United States Championship. There was weapons involved. There was chaos involved. Why did they not just do that here?
Well, that stipulation is otherwise known as an Extreme Rules match anyway. That's just a different name for it. So,
in WWE, God forbid you do God forbid you do more than one of those at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. God forbid.
How egregious would that be? But this is a fun enough triple
This was my
match
match of the night.
Really?
This was match of the night for me.
Wow.
4 stars. This was match of the night.
I gave it 3.25.
This was excellent.
I thought this was a fun enough triple threat. The crowd was way into the finish, but there were just too many botched spots for my liking. That awkward counter out of the Reckoning really killed it for me.
Consider this and the 6-man tag were my favorite matches of the night. Considering the finishes of the next 2 matches, no, this was my match of the night.
Yeah, do you want to get into the next match real quick? Because I've got a few things to say about a certain.
Oh boy, let's just say me and Zack are gonna talk more about what's going on more than about the match, because I enjoyed the match. I did.
I really did. Enjoy
Becky
the match.
Lynch is defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Bianca Belair, in which should have been a strap match.
Yes, yeah, no, I do agree with that. A strap match, I think, would have been really interesting. And first things first, Becky and Bianca were working each other at all the house shows leading up to this to kind of, get a feel for each other. Because, WWE,
and considering Becky Lynch
in WWE's continuity, so just saying, in WWE's continuity, Becky and Bianca have never wrestled each other one-on-one, other than the SummerSlam match, which I don't really count because it only went 26 seconds. It was more so an angle,
this was very smart for WWE to do because Becky Lynch hasn't wrestled a proper match since April of 2020. And she just had a baby.
Since
Yep.
She just had a baby.
So this was honestly the best way.
She just had a baby, which makes her a fucking hero, doesn't it? Like, her coming back into the business after giving birth. That just screams top babyface to you, doesn't it?
No, it screams top heel because the fact that she's mentioning that in her promos, the fact that she's mentioning it in her promos, and she's saying, "Oh, I had a baby and I came back for you guys, and you guys are so ungrateful." I fucking love that shit.
Well,
heel Becky Lynch fucking works.
Well, see, she is a good heel, but the crowd is cheering her anyway because she's Becky Lynch. Did you hear how many cheers?
Just like they cheer AJ Styles. Just like they cheer Brock Lesnar.
Exactly.
Just like they cheer Roman Reigns. Just like they cheer every other heel in the business. You cannot control what the fans are going to do, but you can book Becky Lynch and you can have her cut promos in a way that's going to give a big fucking middle finger to the fan. CM Punk would go out to a roaring ovation in Chicago at Night of Champions 2010. He would praise Chicago, and then he would say, "You know what's wrong with Chicago, though? All of you motherfuckers are the reason why this place is not as good as it used to be." So you can be a good enough heel where you can acknowledge that the fans like you and tell them to go fuck themselves. And I think Becky Lynch can do that, and I think she's doing that very well.
She is, because she's fucking Becky Lynch. She can do anything, really. But here's my thing. Funny you mentioned CM Punk. So on his now infamous Art of Wrestling podcast shortly after he left WWE, he didn't want to turn heel because that meant that his merch sales were getting cut in half, when you're Becky Lynch, who's pretty much the face of the organization in 2019, breaking merch records, like, I mean, shattering them. And it is a ballsy move to turn her heel, just like it was ballsy to turn Stone Cold Steve Austin heel 20 years ago. And, even
absolutely. And, thinking about it some more, I get where you're coming from, but Becky Lynch right now, again, she can use her amazing ability to do whatever she wants and do it well and use it to put over Bianca Belair, who, since Becky Lynch has been gone, has risen to being that top babyface. Everybody loves Bianca Belair.
I love Bianca Belair.
They would not have been as angry as they were at SummerSlam, because if they did not care about Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch would have swooped in, taken that title, and nobody would have said a thing. They would have said, "Oh well, it's Bianca Belair's time is over. Becky Lynch is back." But no, they stood up for her, and that's fantastic. So it's great. Becky Lynch should be using this opportunity again. And I'm not saying she is, but if you look at it in hindsight, if Becky Lynch would have just slid right back in that position she was in 2019, that would just be taking that spot away from a Bianca Belair, from, I know it's like not a fair comparison, but like a Liv Morgan, someone who could rise to the occasion and take that spot. And right now, I think that's Bianca Belair's spot. She is the most over babyface.
I'm waiting for Asuka to get drafted over to SmackDown so we get that inevitable Becky versus Asuka match again, because
we need it.
Asuka was the one who...
Considering the ending of this match, SmackDown's a little heel heavy. We need a couple of baby faces to balance that out.
So that means fans should keep cheering Becky Lynch and prove Tomas and everybody else wrong that she should be the baby face. But anyway, I'm kidding.
If you keep her baby,
I know. I'm just pulling your leg, man, because, I definitely see where you're coming from, and like as I listen to you more and more, I'm like, the more it makes sense to me.
Trust me, man. There have been instances where I'm like, I wish so and so would babyface again because I like it more. But I just feel like with Becky Lynch, and I was thinking that
Johnny Gargano. What? Yeah,
Hey, he's getting there. He's getting there. With his new son-in-law. With his new son-in-law, Dexter Lumis.
It's about fucking time. I mean, even though Dexter Lumis should be a heel, but
his new son-in-law.
Oh, fucking hell. I don't want to talk about NXT 2.0 right now, but there's definitely pros.
Never talk to me or my son ever again.
There are getting back to Becky and Bianca. Yeah, so there are definitely pros and cons on both sides of the argument, whether to keep Becky face or, have her as a heel like she is right now. Because much like Stone Cold was in the spring of 2001, Becky is so fucking entertaining, but and she is just as good in the ring as she ever was. I don't think she missed a step. This was a very good match.
You can tell who she's married to because she's starting to adapt a lot of the heel tactics from one Seth Rollins, including the drip.
Fuck the drip. I said it. Becky Lynch, I'm sure they're very happy together with their newborn child and their newlyweds and everything, but fucking keep Becky Lynch away from Seth Rollins. Keep her as far away from him as possible in storyline.
I'm not saying they're going to bring them together. I'm just saying you can see, the adaptation. She came out in Bianca Belair's hometown wearing those goofy-ass sunglasses and wearing her hair in that obnoxious way. It made you just want to fucking slap the taste out of her mouth. And as a heel, that's what you want to do, right? Don't you want to strangle Seth Rollins? He threatened to go to Edge's house and kick his ass in front of his wife. Mm-hmm. Don't you want to strangle him?
Yeah, and it kind of makes me want to see Edge wrestle live. Book it for October 8th, Vince. I'm going to be there. Thank you.
Yeah, fuck Crown Jewel.
Fuck Crown Jewel.
I want to see that shit at Crown Jewel.
How about Edge versus Seth Rollins in round 1 of this King of the Ring tournament that's being speculated on? But...
Anywho, back to the women's championship match.
There are, so there's loud Becky chants from this crowd in Columbus, like she's the most over babyface on the roster, even though according to Tomas, she is not.
There was dueling chant. I'm not saying Becky Lynch is not the most over babyface. I'm just saying, again, you can't control what the fans are going to do. There was dueling chants for Bianca Belair as well.
Right.
And again, I think this feud is going to do wonders for Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair is now that babyface who is chasing after the title, and the chase needs to be a long one because when she wins it back, and she will, Maybe not in this feud, but eventually she's going to win the title back.
Oh, yeah.
The roof's going to come off the building. The roof's going to come off the building.
Guaranteed she's going to be a multiple-time women's world champion at some point. You know, once she decides to hang it up or, you know, once she decides to become a mom in her own right, you know, she definitely has held multiple women's titles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Keep her in the Street Profits on SmackDown. I don't know. I don't really want to see them go to Raw just yet. I think SmackDown is Belair's show, and she has a lot more to do on that show before she switches over to Raw.
That's fair. That's fair. The crowd this is the first time I actually agreed with the crowd the whole show when they were chanting, "This is awesome." Yes, it is. These two ladies were really tearing it up in there. Bianca Belair did have the early heat. That's very heelish of Bianca Belair. You know, I'm just going to keep rubbing it in. But she does have a very long...
No. It's still too early to speculate anything.
I know. But there is a very long vertical suplex. Becky Lynch must have been in that position for at least a fucking minute. You know, like, the blood was rushing to her head. And, you know, I'm sure they would have practiced this spot at the house shows.
Strong as fuck.
Yeah, that cannot be overstated how strong Bianca Belair is. You know, she is awesome. And a year and a half ago, this was a hot take a year and a half ago, but I thought Bianca Belair was overrated. I thought the hair gimmick was so obnoxious, but she really won me over. Clearly, she's won so many people over. But I thought that
she won all of us over because I was right there with you. I didn't really like her in NXT.
I thought she was just another Sasha Banks. You know, it was just the same old. But
after her match with Shayna Baszler, I think it was. After her match with her, I was like, this girl's got something. Then when they brought her up to the main roster, that's when I was like, I love this girl.
I'm trying to remember when that Shayna Baszler match was even. I think TakeOver Phoenix? TakeOver Phoenix, maybe? Royal Rumble
2018, 2019?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Early 2019 then. Because that's when she did get her soft when she was kind of brought to the main roster. But she wasn't. Like, she showed up on Raw for 2 weeks, and then she left for 6 months, and then she got drafted to SmackDown.
She wasn't in the Royal Rumble until the year after TakeOver Phoenix, when it was in Houston. And then right after that, her NXT Swan Song was against Rhea Ripley in Portland. So
that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that was it. We're just catching up on what Bianca Belair's been up to. But Becky Lynch does not go for the manhandle slam at any point in this match. She does go for the disarm her.
I love that name.
Again, how did Michael Cole immediately know what that move was called?
But when he said it, I was like, fuck yeah, that's cool.
I want to see Becky Lynch hit the manhandle slam. You know?
Damn.
Thank you, Taz. Thank you, Just Bring It, Taz, for that. But so here's where I have the issue with the match, and I'm sure Tomas has the issue as well. Bianca is going for the kiss of death, but it's broken up by a returning Sasha Banks for a fucking disqualification on Extreme Rules, mind you. Like, come on, guys.
Oh, hi, Sasha Banks. Where have you been? Can you stick around for longer than 6 weeks, please?
Thank you for going to shoot the Mandalorian for a little bit. Thanks for coming back. But
yeah,
you know, she's awesome on the Mandalorian though. So I mean, she should keep doing that.
Oh yeah. I got nervous when Sasha Banks came out. At first, I was like, "Cool, nice to see you back." And then she's beating up Bianca Belair. She keeps looking at Becky Lynch, and I'm like, "No, don't do this, please." And I got really scared because I was like, just because Bayley is injured does not mean you just slide someone into her position. I miss you, Bayley. But then thankfully, Sasha Banks starts kicking this shit out of Becky Lynch. I'm like, oh, thank God. I did not want to see another alliance.
No, it wasn't going to be an alliance for sure, which kind of like, you know, Sasha and Becky both heels in this presumed triple threat match that's coming up some point soon. But I mean,
wow,
it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. It's going to
take this into account now. All four horsewomen are heel. Bayley, Banks, Flair, and Lynch.
That just doesn't feel right. Man.
That's so weird. I've always thought that two of them should be babyface.
It doesn't feel right at all. Like, I don't know.
I know.
Becky
In a
Lynch?
perfect world,
Huh?
Flair and Banks are your heels, and Bailey and Lynch are your faces. But
Thank you.
holy shit! And you know, I just realized all you gotta do is draft Charlotte and SmackDown, and they'd all be on the same show. I don't think Vince would do that.
No.
But you don't think that would be cool? The four horsewomen being an actual heel stable?
I really don't want to see it just because it would.
Or you put the tag team titles on one of them, so you give them an excuse to go over to the other show.
I mean,
they dominate both shows.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's just pure speculation on our part. But as far as this women's title match goes, 3.5 stars would have been better if it was a strap match. It was great wrestling brought down by a bullshit finish on the show where Becky Lynch herself said anything goes.
Oh, the irony. With that finish and with the lack of a stipulation, I can't give this more than 3.25. I enjoyed the wrestling, but stipulations. Of course, you can do fantastic wrestling on any pay-per-view. Give me some goddamn gimmick matches.
Yeah, absolutely. Which brings us to the main event of the show, because it's Extreme Rules. We have to have an Extreme Rules match for the Universal Championship. The head of the table, who you will acknowledge, son, is going to be Roman Reigns defending against Demon Finn Balor. Roman Reigns entered the... and Tomas is already upset when I was just, mentioning the sheer thought of this match. So, let me just say that Roman Reigns makes his long entrance to the ring first, which means that Demon Balor gets the grand entrance right at the end of the show. What an entrance. It's very similar to how The Fiend was the second one to enter against Seth inside Hell in a Cell. Made me think Finn was potentially winning the Universal Championship, which I would not have minded. Absolutely would not have minded. But what an entrance! Okay. What an entrance for Finn! And let me just say that the Demon also has a black tongue, which made me very concerned. I hope that was food coloring. I hope that was food coloring. So
this was actually the only match I was looking forward to on this show. And I was excited for this match. And then I realized WWE booked themselves into a corner again.
They absolutely did.
On one side, you have Roman Reigns, the most dominant character they have ever booked. And God knows how long. As the Universal Champion, he's been the Universal Champion for over a year. He has steamrolled through everybody. He's the best thing going in WWE right now. You either take the title off of him, and then on the other side, you have the Demon King, Finn Balor, a character that has been protected ever since he came to WWE with only one loss under his belt, and that was against Samoa Joe in NXT. 0 losses on the main roster.
Yep.
What do you sacrifice? And
what do you sacrifice?
Also, in 2019, Finn Balor went back to NXT to reinvent himself, an edgier, a better rendition of his character than he ever had on the main roster. You bring him back up to the main roster, and he fucking loses in 3 weeks to Roman Reigns. So that credibility is gone. The only thing he has left is the Demon King. And if he loses that, I'm sorry, all of his credibility is gone. And if all of his credibility is gone, bloop, he's right back to where he was in 2018.
Yeah.
Doing jack shit.
I mean, despite...
So I was scared.
I am so with you there. I mean, I wasn't really as scared going into this as I was for, say, a Goldberg WWE Championship match at a Royal Rumble or SummerSlam.
No.
I was, because I felt at least comfortable knowing that Roman Reigns and Finn Balor were going to be in this match, that they were going to put on a fucking killer match. And that's exactly what they did. Wrestling-wise, this was my personal favorite match on the show. I absolutely was so entertained by it up until the bullshit finish, which we'll get to.
I mean, the match was fine.
It was. I thought it was really good. So the crowd has been begging for tables all night long. Balor goes under the ring and he grabs a table. The crowd has a huge pop, and then Roman cuts him off. Roman, being the bastard heel that he is, shoves the table back under the ring, and then he looks back at the crowd and he's like, "No tables, no tables." And I'm like,
you want to hear something really fucking crazy?
You know?
Let's go back to the year 2015. Roman Reigns is wrestling the Big Show in a last man standing match on Extreme Rules. Reigns pulls out a table and Big Show throws it back under the table. He breaks the table and says, "No tables." Holy shit, 6 years later, Reigns is doing the same thing. I thought that was an amazing callback.
Am I the only one who forgot about that fucking callback?
Am I the only one that actually enjoyed that match between Reigns and Show?
Hey. I liked that match too. I definitely remember which match you're talking about. That was one of the better matches on that card. But
so I feel like that was just a little tribute to an opponent that helped put over Reigns back in the day.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but smile at that moment because I feel like that was Reigns low-key paying tribute to the Big Show. Maybe it was a huge coincidence and Reigns would say, "What the fuck? I don't remember that match." But I don't know. I thought it was a cute little tribute.
If I ever meet Roman Reigns, aside from doing his impression for him, I kind of want to ask him about that now. Like, is that a coincidence or did you actually do that on purpose? But
oh my God, I just met Ray Fenix. If I ever meet Roman Reigns, I want to meet Roman Reigns now. Please,
right?
Powers that be, make it happen.
You will acknowledge me, son. Keep Jimmy and Jay in check. Make sure they always interfere in my matches. So,
anywho, they start brawling in the crowd, and Reigns motions to Paul Heyman to give him something.
It's a fucking mask. It's a mask.
It's a mask.
Yeah, because yeah,
I thought it was cool.
It was really, really fucking cool. And you know what? It actually it's not kayfabe because we all know about Roman Reigns' history beating leukemia not once but twice. So with the pandemic going on, he is immunocompromised. So if he were to fight in the crowd, he was like, if I'm gonna fight in the crowd, Vince, I need a fucking mask. So
absolutely. And I'm pretty sure Vince just said, okay.
If Roman Reigns can fucking wrestle a fucking Extreme Rules match, half of it wearing a fucking mask, then you morons who are still not wearing a mask in grocery stores can for sure do it for an hour. Easily. Just saying.
The tea is delicious. The tea is delicious.
With
that being said,
2021, guys.
Yeah. I thought it was a little. Apparently after this match, people were complaining about that. And they were saying, "Oh, if Reigns is wearing a mask while he's fighting through the crowd, that obviously shows that WWE doesn't care about the safety of their wrestlers." I'm like, how does that mean that? If they didn't care about the safety of their wrestlers, they would have told Reigns he can't do that.
No, or better yet, Or better yet, if they did not care about the safety of their wrestlers, Vince McMahon would have straight up told everybody, you cannot get this vaccine that's out there.
Exactly.
And it's totally free to everybody. So,
and I'm pretty sure if any other wrestler wanted to do what Reigns did, I'm pretty sure Vince will say, okay, yeah, that's fine. Do whatever you want.
Honestly,
Shelton Benjamin accidentally walked to the ring wearing a mask on Raw. That was funny.
That was really funny. Yeah, but at least shows that Shelton Benjamin cares about his health too. So as we all should, as we all do. So Roman, I mean, also you want to talk about callbacks. Honestly, Roman wearing the mask. Do you remember the night after WrestleMania 30 when the Shield officially turned to babyface and they were coming out with those like weird, like skull looking masks almost, and the crowd was chanting "Hounds of Justice" as they were saving Bryan Danielson. Like it kind of harkened back to that look almost, but it was a nice little look for him.
Oh yeah.
Roman does.
Yeah, they brawled onto the pre-show panel table.
Yes, which harkens back to Roman's match with AJ 5 years before at the same event. They were fighting in that same
a lot of little callbacks in this match. That was weird. I wasn't expecting all this.
Through all of Roman Reigns' history, we're just this is instead of the Extreme Rules 2021 review, this is the Roman Reigns history class. So
yeah,
there you go.
And you know what? Fine, I'm gonna throw out another one. This actually, when they were brawling to the pre-show table, it kind of reminded me of this year's Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, when they were brawling all throughout the Thunderdome and into the baseball field.
Yeah,
which I want them to go back to another baseball field so I can see more of that shit. Yeah. Roman Reigns is really good when he brawls in the crowd. I never thought I'd say that about a wrestler.
Roman Reigns versus Happy Corbin in a Falls Count Anywhere match in a baseball stadium. There you go.
Holy shit, that was actually a good match.
But Roman, they eventually get back to the ring. There's a Uranagi through the table for a 2 count. Superman punch for a 2 count. Roman finally hits Finn with a spear. who kicks out at 2, but also hits Roman with his patented low blow on the kick out, which is
because
awesome.
Remember, that's how Reigns beat Balor on SmackDown a couple weeks ago.
Yep, absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So it gets to a point where Finn Balor does hit the coup de grace, but he also gets 2 because of those damn Usos, as Michael Cole calls them. You know, not those damn Dudleys anymore. Those damn Usos, for anybody who's into our retro streams. So there we are, always interfering in Roman's matches, but at least this makes sense because this is, in fact, Extreme Rules. There's no disqualification. Anything goes, Becky Lynch. But Finn power bombs Jey Uso through the announce table, and then directly after that, Roman spears Finn through the barricade, and the crowd fucking loses their marbles at that moment. This is a demolition at ringside here. But oh
boy.
Finish. Are you ready?
Then, yep.
What does
the
Finn
lights
do?
go red. And then his music starts pulsing, and Balor goes
like he's a fucking dead fish on the docks. You know, like.
And then he rises from the dead. And he makes his huge comeback, and the red lights are on, and then his fucking theme music starts playing. But to be fair, when his music hit the Dana, he bullet drop kicks Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns goes fucking flying, and he goes through a table. And I thought that was the funniest shit.
And Tomas is just laughing so hard at this bullshit, you know? Hey, you know, at least if the Fiend wrestles in red light, his fucking Yowie Wowie music is not playing while he wrestles. So
I was like,
this is false.
But at this point, I was convinced that Finn Balor was going to win this match, because I'm just like, why would they be doing this if he's not going to win the title?
But then, of course, you know, the music's building. Dun, 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 dun. And Finn is climbing up the stairs like he usually does during his entrance. He goes up to the fucking top rope for a coup de grace, and you could have just...
And he stands there.
He stands there for a little bit. He stands there.
And I'm just like, what the fuck are you waiting for?
He stands there like he's waiting for a fucking, like, you know, chocolate to be thrown at him or something. Like, but the thing is, Finn is standing on the top rope, and as the music goes into that thing where Finn, like, puts his arms out, unhazardous working environment, the fucking rope breaks, and the lights come back up, and Finn is selling it, and Roman fucking spears the demon and pins him like a geek. And Roman retains the Universal Championship to go defend against Brock Lesnar for blood money next month. But that's a match that fucking did not need the Universal Championship. Finn Balor for sure should have won this match, especially with that comeback. And I know Tomas is so pissed.
Look.
Go ahead. Look.
If you want Roman Reigns to retain the title, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. I can forgive that. I can move on from that. I can let it go. But I just imagined Pritchard and Heyman and who's that other fucker's name? Kevin Dunn, and every single producer
Nick
going
Khan.
up to Vince and saying, Nick Khan just going, so what's the finish of this match going to be, huh? Roman Reigns going to, but the Demon King, he's kind of protected, huh? The fans are going to get upset. Okay, fine.
Not
Finn's
really.
Oh, but what about Roman Reigns, huh? And Vince was probably just, the top rope's going to break. What? Yeah, the top rope is going to break, and that's how Reigns beats him.
Yeah.
And so my dumbass thought the Fiend was going to come out. Because I don't know, that sounds like something the Fiend would do. It just sounds like something the Fiend would do.
I would not have been opposed to a Fiend return, but I know he's making his debut on Dynamite tomorrow at the time of recording. So, you know, you didn't hear it from me. You heard it from probably some other wrestling outlet. But the thing is, like, if Roman had pinned Demon Balor clean as a whistle in the middle of the ring, I wouldn't have been upset. I really wouldn't have.
I mean, I would have been upset, but I wouldn't have been upset as much as I did with this finish. Like, they were trying too hard to protect him. And then to make matters worse, when I went back and rewatched it, apparently that him falling off the top rope snapped Balor out of his Demon King gimmick. And then apparently Pat McAfee said on commentary, oh, that was a divine intervention moment for Balor. Like they're saying that Demon King is a bad thing for Balor and he shouldn't be that. And what makes me really, really, really fucking nervous is that now Balor's gonna come out on SmackDown and say, I'm never going back to that dark side again. And they're gonna kill the Demon King gimmick, which is a terrible idea.
It really is.
I'm scared now. I'm really scared.
I'm gonna quote Brian Alvarez when I say this. It's so easy. It is so easy. Either Roman pins Balor clean or Balor pins Roman clean and he becomes the Universal Champion. None of this hocus pocus rope breaking bullshit, because that just means you're making it harder than it needs to. Why does it have to be so fucking hard? Like everything they have to do, every finish they make for these big main events, they have to make as difficult as they possibly could make it. In a scripted sport. Like, come on. Seriously? Like, just pick a winner and then just let them improvise to the finish. Like, there's no way. There is absolutely no chance in hell, pun intended, that Balor and Roman could come up with a worse finish than what Vince cockered up there. You know, I'm done. I'm done ranting.
Vince, it's because Vince booked himself into a corner again. Again. Like, if you would have just did the original fucking plan, which was Roman Reigns versus the Prince Finn Balor at Extreme Rules, fine. You do that, you have Reigns win, and you have him move on. But not only did you fucking kill the Prince, you killed the fucking Demon King, and you did it in the span of 3 weeks.
Even if they did book themselves into a corner, that's exactly my point. Either Reigns wins clean or Balor wins clean. It's that easy. Just pick one, and then they can come up with a finish.
Why does Vince have this mentality that, oh, Roman Reigns pinned Finn Balor, that's done. We're done with him. We can't do anything with him because he's absolutely ruined.
Yeah.
No, you continue to book him strong. Hell, you have him challenge King Nakamura next month for the Intercontinental title, and you put the Intercontinental title on Finn Balor. You put Finn Balor in that's just an example. That's just an example. Or you put Finn Balor into another high-profile feud, Seth Rollins, and you do something with him and keep him busy. Just because Balor didn't win the Universal title doesn't mean he's the equivalent of chicken shit now. But that's the way Vince books shit.
Yeah, so Finn Balor lost to this Universal title shot, and that probably means he's not winning the Universal title off of Roman at any point soon. That probably means, so if they are going to follow that path where Finn takes the title off of King Nakamura, at least fucking book him on pay-per-view, because King Nakamura was nowhere to be found on Extreme Rules. That's another rant for another time, you know?
2 months it took for the WWE to fuck up Finn Balor, to erase all the work they did with him at NXT. And you know what? He's going to be right back to just wrestling every week in pointless feuds, and he's not going to go anywhere now.
As long as
I'm not saying this to you. I'm saying this to everyone else who's going to say, oh, we'll give it. No, we know how WWE operates. They're not going to do shit with Finn Balor now.
He came off like a
I don't really want to see him get drafted to Raw, to be perfectly honest. Because he just came back to SmackDown. With the draft, just bring some quality opponents and let Finn Balor do something cool. Yeah. Look at everyone in AEW who's not contending for a title. They're in cool feuds. Hell, you booked MJF into what? A 7-month program with Chris Jericho?
And now he's doing some cool shit with Brian Pillman Jr. You know, you can do shit like that. So
it needs to be long-term feuds. And it's okay if MJF is like in standby mode. It's okay that MJF is in some filler right now. The filler needs to be a lot shorter than the long-term shit.
Yes.
Don't have Finn Balor fall into mid-card limbo like you did last time.
So, yeah, because honestly,
I'm done. I've said how I felt.
Finn Balor,
3.25 stars. I'm sorry. This match fucking angered me more than it should have.
I was going to give it 4, but thinking more and more about it, it's 3.75 for me. This was the best wrestling match on this show.
And that's fine.
But that fucking finish, man, it killed it. It killed it for me.
It did.
But, I mean, listen, I haven't given up all hope on how they're going to treat Finn Balor from this point forward, because he is sneakily one of the best wrestlers on the planet. I know a lot of people are talking about AJ Styles, Bryan Danielson, and CM Punk to an extent. And actually, okay, so thinking about that, before I forget, like, imagine you're watching CM Punk wrestle Powerhouse Hobbs on Rampage, and, like, Tony Khan figures out, oh, shit, Powerhouse Hobbs is ranked number 2. I don't want him to lose, but CM Punk just came back, so I don't want him to lose either. How do I book this? Imagine if CM Punk went up to the top rope, did the Randy Savage point, and then the rope just buckled under him, and Powerhouse Hobbs pinned him. Like, that would be literally the same exact thing that they did in this main event. Just saying.
Yeah, 100%.
You got to keep CM Punk looking strong, but you end up making Finn Balor or CM Punk in this instance look like a fucking geek. I mean,
and they did. That's what they did to Balor.
Yeah. So.
So now everybody understands that this was in 3 parts an excellently wrestled pay-per-view. At the end of the day, you cannot discredit Lashley, AJ Styles, The New Day, Damian Priest, Charlotte Flair, the Usos, the Street Profits, Jeff Hardy, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, Roman Reigns, The Fiend. You cannot discredit them.
You mean the
further
Demon?
in ring work.
You mean the Demon? You said The Fiend.
Oh, I did? Oh, shit. Yeah,
no, you're
I thought
good.
you were giving me shit for saying Balor.
Yeah.
Reigns. Yeah, fuck it. The Fiend, too. But the Fiend is cool.
Yes, of course he is. Until he becomes the fucking, like, whatever they want to name him in AEW. Until he comes the freaking, the Mutilator. You have Mason the Mutilator. Wyndham the Mutilator.
You cannot discredit any of these wrestlers because they put in the fucking work tonight and the wrestling was excellent.
Absolutely.
But you take that, you take the fact that this pay-per-view was called Extreme Rules and there was no stipulations except for one, and it was a very lazy stipulation. And then you put in the fact that you don't book Big E and Lashley on this pay-per-view, but you do it the next night on Raw. You take into effect that, again, Alexa Bliss lost in her hometown. You take into the Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch and that whole fucking schmoz. And then you take the main event and you just, again, it's not that hard.
Yeah, it's so fucking easy to book a good show. And if you want to see how easy it is to book a good wrestling show, go watch AEW All Out, watch AEW Grand Slam. Either one of the two just shows you how fucking easy it is. WWE just makes it so difficult nowadays. And good wrestling aside, I totally agree with you. These performers should be commended for trying to turn shit into gold. But how far is just good wrestling by itself going to take you? You need good fucking stories, too. And Vince McMahon is not giving those to us. They didn't turn shit into
gold. They turned shit into bronze at best.
Yeah, but, I mean...
Because,
yeah,
it's a two-way street. The wrestlers are putting in the work. Creative's got to follow.
This was honestly my least favorite pay-per-view of the year so far, if I really had to think about it. I liked Elimination Chamber and Fastlane both more than this, because at least you had some eventful shit happen on those shows. Extreme Rules had nothing.
I'm sorry. Thunderdome Hell in a Cell 2021, that's still worse than this because
you think
there was absolutely, Okay. At least I can go back to this pay-per-view and know that I'm going to see an excellent 6-man tag and an excellent SmackDown tag team title and an excellent Raw Women's Championship match. I could not think of any reason to go back to Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. But guys, if you had fun with these discussions, just like Tomas and I sure did, this was very cathartic for us. I can't speak on his behalf, but I mean, feel free to go ahead and subscribe down below. We're on the road to 1,000, as I've said at the top of the pod. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. And stay tuned for more wrestling pods over the next month of October. As we mentioned at the end of Grand Slam, I'm going to be hosting a poll on my Twitter account because ain't no way we're going to be hosting a pod for Crown Jewel and supporting the blood money. So
the cathartic. Also, I can't figure that. I still will be watching Crown Jewel because it's still a wrestling show and I'm still curious of what's going to happen, but we are not going to be reviewing it. We're not going to be putting it in the spotlight. Like I said, the cathartic shit is over. Let's have some fun in October. We want to do something fun, a Halloween show, a really old school show, a TNA show,
an Attitude Era show. An Attitude Era show. Yeah, because like Tomas and
join us for some fun.
Yeah, you know we're touching on the Ruthless Aggression era as we continue our retro look through what we grew up with. Up next on the docket is Judgment Day 2003, headlined by Brock Lesnar versus Paul White in a stretcher match. I mean, we got some fun stuff to talk about here. So
let's just say in October, it's going to be all treats, no tricks.
I mean, like, what else do I have to add on after that? But folks, thank you all so much for joining in. Stay tuned for the next one, guys. Take it easy.